Testing, testing. Hola, 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 hola. Probando, probando. Uno, dos, probando. ¿Me escuchan, muchachos?
Buenos días, mister.
Buenos días, buenos días. Ok, vamos a ver. Última hoste. Ok, otra vez. Una vez más. Uno, probando. Uno,
Hola,
dos.
mister.
Ahora sí. Fue que tenía la salida de audio por el Poli Studio. Bueno, solo un pequeño anuncio, muchachos. El día de hoy, yo sé que con uno de ustedes, algunos de ustedes, estoy pendiente de corregir la nota de la última entrevista. El día de hoy lo voy a hacer. Lo que sucede que el día de ayer y ayer y antier he tenido problemas con el servicio de internet en casa, para variar. Menuda novedad, ¿verdad? Aquí no tiene problemas de internet. Entonces, solo para que estén sabidos de que sí se va a hacer el cambio respectivo el día de hoy, ¿verdad? Entonces, no se preocupen. Cuando se haga el cambio respectivo, yo lo estaré notificando por el chat general, jóvenes, a las personas que están involucradas en el cambio, ¿verdad? Se les va a notificar en forma general que el cambio ya se hizo. ¿Ok? So, thank you so much for the attendance. Today, we're going to continue starting with the rules of the factorization. Yesterday, we learned how to factorizing. Okay, we learned how to apply the special products and the special formulas from factoring. Remember, the special products are useful because they'll tell us or give us an easy way how we can reduce the process to multiply binomials will repeat itself twice or three times in addition or subtraction. We learned how to factorize the algebraical expressions, the polynomials, actually using the common factor in the variables, and the greatest common factor at the end will be the same with the numbers. And also, we learn how to use the special formula from factoring. Remember, that formula are useful in the binomials, and we had three formulas: difference square, difference of cube, in addition of cube. And today, we're going to learn how to factorize the quadratic expressions. And also, after we learn how to factorize the quadratic expressions, I'm going to show you how to solve quadratic equations. Actually, the 95% of the process will be the same process the moment we're going to factorize the quadratic expressions. Okay, how we can identify these quadratic expressions? Obviously, because the maximum power of the quadratic expressions will be the number 2. Okay, and we can have into presentations. For example, one of them will be give us for a given example, x squared minus 8 equals 0. Obviously, this is a quadratic equation, right? X squared minus 8 equals 0. Another quadratic equation could be x minus 8 or x plus any negative, depending the case, okay? But I'm going to use a negative. Plus or minus b could be equal 0. Both are examples of quadratic equations because as soon as you can see, both are elevated at the second power. But in this case, we're going to study quadratic expressions using in the trinomial perfect square. Why is a trinomial? Because that equation we're going to solve has the form of x squared, positive, negative, depending the case, px, positive, negative c, that will be equal to 0. Okay, you're going to find out the trinomial perfect square in this form, or yeah, actually with the maximum, the leading coefficient, I mean the number who is next to the x squared variable is number 1, and probably we're going to have to solve the equation, quadratic equation in this form using a squared positive negative bx positive negative c equals 0, even though when it happened, okay, when the letter A represents a number totally different than 0. Totally different than 0. we're going to learn how to solve those, actually, first of all, how to factorize it, okay? And after that, I'm going to show you how we can solve these quadratic equations. But meanwhile, we're going to working with expressions. Okay, and how many ways or how many techniques we have to use to solving or actually, solving quadratic equations. I'm going to say that thing. Well, one of them is by factoring, is the name of that method, is try, the first one is try and error. This is the first one. So we're going to use factoring and you're going to learn, well, actually, a theoretical explanation is harder to define, right? But at the moment we're going to solve this quadratic expression, you're going to understand why I'm saying try and error, because literally we have to try and prove if one singular number is a solution of another one. The second one, and this most precisely because the only thing that we have to do is following one singular formula, will be the completing the square. This is going to be the second technique, how we can solve these quadratic expressions. And the third one, and the last one, will be the general, or another way of saying quadratic formula. The last one, the general or quadratic formula, my dear students, is basically one of the maths formulas used in the physics class. And as I'm not talking about the physics class of Mr. Osorio. No, no, no. This is physics education. I'm talking about physics. And physics is the combination between the classes in natural science with math. And this general quadratic formula we are using, is a common usage. There's like, for example, you're going to the grocery and you want to buy Coca-Cola with semitas or some kind of bread. It's so common that use in that situation. Okay. In this moment, it's so important, guys, to tell me if you understand or not the examples that I'm going to solve you today. Okay. Even though when you learn how to factorize the quadratic expressions, after that, I'm going to show you how to solve quadratic equations, because the rest of the process is minimal. It's minimal. But the 95% of the process will be the same, because we have to factorize first, and after that, solve the equation, okay? All right, I'm going to copy the instruction. The instruction number one, or the problem examples. Factorize or factor the trinomial. Factor the trinomial. If you see at the beginning of the problem says trinomial. Why we are saying the trinomial? Because in the letter A, it would be the first example, we have x squared plus 2x minus 3. We are not solving for x. Only the problem mentioned factor the trinomial. And we are saying trinomial because we have three terms. A squared term, the second one is a linear term, and the third one is independent term. I'm saying independent term because there is no letter x in the number 3. And this is why we're talking about quadratic equations. But let me give you just a little extension of the definition of quadratic equations. Actually, when they're saying quadratic equations, the first thing you're keeping in mind is the maximum power is 2 because it's second grade equations. And you're right, but the trinomials could be, the maximum power could be even numbers powers. For example, could be x squared, just like the example, could be x4, could be x6, could be x8, could be x10, and so on, the maximum power at the beginning. But the second term, in the second term, always will be the half value of the maximum power. If you see, what is the maximum power over here? It's 2, right? Well, if you
Yes.
see, what is the half of the number 2? 1. This is and the third one always will be independent term. I mean, the last term, there's not gonna be letter X. For example, if instead to use X second power, I'm going to give you an example, 10. X 10 power, the second one will be 2X fifth power because it's the half value. And the last one, without letter X, okay? This is just for clarify the definition of quadratic equations. But what will be the process? Okay, simple. The process, my dear students, in this case number 1, with the leader coefficient, I mean the number who is next to x squared is number 1. What we're going to do? The first step, we're going to split into parentheses the letter x in 2 parts, right? This is going to be the first step. Open parentheses, copy the letter X, close parentheses, open one, and copy the letter X, okay? We split in 2 parts. If instead, in this case, where X4 power will be X squared, X squared. In where 6 power, cube, cube, and so on. We're going to split the letter X, the maximum power, in 2 parts, okay? Rule number 1. Rule number 2. Always in the first term, I'm going to copy the sign. If this positive, okay, it's gonna be positive. If the first sign is negative, will be negative, okay? And if you see, the first sign is positive, okay? So I'm going to copy the positive sign over here. How about in the second one? In the second one, don't forget, because I can give you 1,000 problems on this way. Always will be the same rules, okay? In the second parenthesis, I'm going to copy the sign. The sign that I'm going to copy over here is the result of the product of their signs. I mean, I'm going to multiply the first one with the second one, and the result of multiplying the sign, not the numbers. The sign will be the result that we derive inside the parentheses. In simple melody words, positive times negative will be negative, right? Okay, excellent, negative. Perfect. We are almost complete. We are done the 90% of the problem. Believe me, we are solving the 90% of the problem to this far. Now, what we're going to do, please, the process is the same. We have to looking for two numbers, two numbers, two numbers. Multiplying that gave us multiplying the indeterminate, the dependent term, I mean, the number who doesn't have variable. And at the same time, because we have two different signs, that means there's going to be a subtraction. At the same time, that those numbers gave us, the product gave us 3. At the same time, gave us like a result to subtract 2. Think about it. That's why the name try and error. Think about it. A couple numbers who their product gave us 3, and at the same time, the subtraction. Why I'm saying subtraction? Because we have different signs. The subtraction between the same two numbers gave us number 2. Okay, use your imagination, use your head. Two numbers multiplying gave us 3, and the same two numbers and the subtract gave us 2. Ajá. No me diga que no lo han encontrado. 3 and
1 and 3.
exactly, but be careful at the moment, because if I said 1 and 3, what is going to happen? 1 times -3 gave us -3, right? But 1 minus 3 gave us -2. And the middle part that's supposed to be +2. But that reason, at the moment going to write the numbers, be careful in the position going to copy. So the right answer could be x plus 3 times x minus 1, because 3 times -1 is -3. And 3 minus 1 gave us 2. And that's it. That's all that we have to do in this example. Got it? That's all. That's it. Well, at the beginning, right? This is the first one. Did you understand, guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right then. So let's going to looking for another example. Just to explain you already. That's why the name of the technique. The name of the technique is trial and error because you have to looking for some kind of numbers gave us one singular result. Okay, I have another example. Let me looking for. Mhm. Yeah. Está muy fácil, no me gusta. Bueno, vamos a probar este, pues. Okay, let's try to the next example. The letter B. We have another example. Yeah, 2x squared, 2x squared minus 12x minus 12x plus 10. Okay, we have to factorize this trinomial. Okay, remember what is the main purpose in this problem is factorize. Okay, when I said factorize, sorry, when I said factorize, we have to analyze at the beginning if we don't have to combine the techniques we learned a few classes ago. Okay, this is a trinomial because we have a square value, another one is a linear value, and we have an independent term. But sorry, I don't know if you can see or saw a curiosity. Perdón. No sé si vieron una curiosidad ahorita. We have 2x squared minus 12x plus 10. Is there a curiosity? Yes or no?
The numbers are even.
The three numbers are even, right? For that reason, we can take the greatest common factor. And what will be the greatest common factor between 2, 12, and 10? Number
2.
2, right? Okay, before to continue with this trinomial, I'm going to take out solve the expression, the number 2. And remember, the original equation must be divided by this number 2. We got x squared minus 6x plus 5, right? Because we're dividing the original equation divided by 2. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to apply the rules, the factorization of the trinomial, because we have a trinomial over here, right? So I'm going to copy the number 2 upside. And remember, we're going to open two parentheses, split that letter x in two parts. X over here, close parentheses. I'm going to copy the first sign. That will be negative. And the second sign will be the product between their signs. I mean, negative times positive gave us negative, right? Yes or no? Perfect.
Yes.
Now, we're going to repeat the process. Giving two numbers was multiplied gave us 5, okay, 5. And at the same time, because this time, sorry, at the same time, because we have this time 2 equal sign, adding negative 6. Remember, two numbers, the product gave us positive 5, okay? And at the same time, because we have two equal sign, adding gave us 6, negative 6.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
1 and 5.
1 and 5, perfect. Because in this case, it doesn't matter the order. Because we're talking about addition, no problem with that. If you see, negative 1 times negative 5, positive 5. Perfect. Negative 1 minus 5, negative 6. And that's it. That problem we solved already this beautiful problem. Did you understand how to solving this Factorization, guys, yes or no?
So if they are a greater common factor, we need to simplify it.
Exactly. When we need to, and when it's possible. When it's possible also, right? Remember, no, always we cannot using the common factor. When we can do it and when it's possible, all right? Okay, the rest of the people, did you understand? Natalia, Millie, Sofia, Luis, the another Sofia, Maria Fernanda, Alejandra, Manuel, Rocio, Joseph. Did you understand it to this part? Okay, let's solve another example, another one. Let me see what we got. Let me looking for another example. This is a nice curiosity. You're going to see this problem so interesting. A letter C. We have this situation. We have open parentheses, 3x plus 2 second power, okay, plus 8 parentheses, 3x plus 2, okay, and finally positive 12. Okay, we have to factorize this trinomial. Okay, in this situation, okay, there are two ways how we can solve this trinomial because it's a trinomial, as soon as you can see, right? We have a quadratic expression, we have a linear expression, and we have the independent term. I mean the number who doesn't have a variable. Okay, and we got two ways how we can proceed. One of them is the long way, and another one will be the shortcut, the easy way. Which one would you like to learn? Long way,
Shortcut.
the shortcut, right? I know that situation. If you see, we repeat the expression 3x plus 2 twice, right? But we cannot, I'm not saying we're going to take common factor. That's not possible because we have three terms. But just for clarified, we repeat that number 3x plus 2 twice in the quadratic expression and the linear expression. So we can, how to say that, rewrite this expression using a change of variable. How is that? If you wish, you can use obviously another letter, obviously without the letter X. I'm going to use, for example, the variable W. Because this 3x plus 2 repeat twice, I'm going to say, okay, W will be equal 3x plus 2. So I'm going to change
Mister, why
this.
did you put W?
And W, because I like the letter W. Or if you want to use Y, you can use U, you can use P. And what is the purpose? Take a look. I'm creating my, how to say that, my own equation. My saying W equals this expression, okay? And the purpose is, instead to write 3x plus 2 second power, instead to write 3x plus 2, I'm going to replace by W. I mean, and transform this equation by W squared plus 8 times W plus 12. Just for changing the point of view of the original equation with this one, because it's easier to us visualize this equation, this form, than the first one. That's why I'm using a new variable, because I really want to take a short.
So
Did you
if
understand?
simplify it, right, Mister?
In simplementary words, to simplify the side of this equation, okay? Now, what we're going to do, we're going to solve this equation, right? So in the same way, open parentheses, W, W, we're going to copy the first sign, positive. The another one is the product between their signs, positive times positive is positive. Perfect. Now, if we have to looking for two numbers with their product gave us 12, and because we have equal sign, the addition gave us 8. Remember, two numbers with their product gave us 12, and the addition gave us 8. I'm saying addition because we have equal sign. And I said 8
6 and
because
2.
6 and 2, right? Because 6 times 2 is 12 and and 6 plus 2 will be 8. However, this is not the answer because the original equation is given by 3x plus 2, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace w by the original one. I mean, open parenthesis, instead to use w, I'm going to copy 3x plus 2 plus 6, close parenthesis, open parenthesis, 3x plus 2 plus 2, right? We have like terms. 2 plus 6 will be 8. 3x plus 8, parentheses, 3x plus 4. And this is going to be the solution set of this problem. Understood? Understood?
So we, if there are right terms, we simplify it. We added
Exactly.
and or
Yeah,
subtracted.
because remember, exactly, because 2 and 6 are like terms, 2 and 2 are like terms. Now, I'm going to solve the same one, but in the long way, okay? Let me know if may I change the camera view or not yet. Déjame saberlo si puedo cambiar si puedo mover la cámara, pues. A eso me refiero.
I already copy all of that
Okay.
list.
I don't know, the rest of the people, may I move the camera to the right side? Yes or no?
Yes,
Hello.
mister.
Okay, then I'm going to move the camera a little bit to the right side and I'm going to copy the same problem. And that's going to solve in the long way. And actually, I'm going to show you at the same time, I'm going to introduce you or show you how we can proceed every time that we have a trinomial when a number is different than 1 at the x squared. Okay, so remember, I'm going to put C, not C2, I will call this one's like a C number 2. Okay, the original process is 3x plus 2 second power plus a parentheses 3x plus 2 and finally plus 12. Okay, in this situation, what we're going to do, if you are thinking, okay, mister, in the first one, 3x plus 2, may I use the special formula, the special product? Yes, this is going to be the first step that we have to do. Remember, the special product formula is given by the form a plus b squared equals a squared plus 2 times ab plus b squared. Remember, this is the special formula for the special product. I'm going to start using the special product at the beginning of the equation. I mean, I'll do it step by step. That will be 3x second power twice 3x times 2 plus 2 second power. Okay, how about with the number 8? If you're thinking, may I use distributive property? You're right, we have to use distributive property. Plus 24x plus 16, and I'm going to copy the number 12. Okay. Now let's going to try to simplify the expression. We got 9x squared plus 2 times 3, 6 times 2, 12x plus 4, because 2 at the second power will be 4, plus 24x plus 28, right? 28. And let's continue simplify this expression. We got 9x squared plus 12 plus 24 will be 36, right? 36x plus 32. Okay. And we are simplifying, not factorizing, we're simplifying this beauty, this polynomial. Okay, what we have to do in this situation? Every time that we have a number different than 1 in the little coefficient, I mean the number who's next to the x squared. Okay, the first thing that we have to do is forget, forget about it, the middle term. Olvídese del término del centro. Haga como que ese 36x que usted está viendo ahí no existe. Just we're going to focus in the first term and the second term. Obviously, we're going to split the letter x in two parts, but we have to looking for a combination of two numbers with their product gave us 9. Okay, to split the letter x. Remember, we have two possible combinations. That's why the name of the technique, try and error. Could be 9 times 1, or could be 3 times 3, because in both combinations gave us answer the number 9. It's strongly recommend, because it's try and error technique, we have to use the most balanced distribution of the numbers at the beginning. I'm not saying always going to give us the answer at the first try, right? But this is a strong recommendation. But if you want to start it from 9 and 1, don't worry. But at the end, we have to make sure if we did well or wrong. But my recommendation is when we have combinations, more than one combination of the numbers, trying to use the first one, the combination will be the most balanced, okay? And just we explained you already. We have 3x for one side and 3x for the other one. Okay, I'm going to copy the first sign, it's positive. The second one will be the product of signs. Positive times positive is positive. Now focus in the number 32. Forget about it, the middle one. Only focus in the number 32. Give me two numbers multiplying 32. Well, we have many combinations. For example, the first, the biggest one is 32 times 1. Could be one combination. Another one could be this 16 times 2. This is another one. And another
8 times
combination,
4.
8 times 4, right? Excuse me, Diego? Exactly. Because we have the three distributions, right? 32 and 1. We have 16 and 2. And another one could be 8 and 4. And just to explain you already, okay, we have to use the most balanced combination, right? And the most balanced combination will be 8 and 4, all right? I'm going to copy the number 8 over here and the number 4 over here. And how do I know if I did well or wrong? Simple. Please, guys, pay attention to this technique because it's so useful at the moment when to prove if we're doing well or wrong. The only thing that we have to do is multiply the string, the first term with the last one. I mean, the string with the string, and the middle with the middle, just like a happy face. I don't know if you can see that in that way. A happy face. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. If you multiply 3x times 4 will be positive 12x, right? And if you multiply 8 times 3 gave us positive 24x. And because both are positive, 12 plus 24 gave us 36. Oh, what a nice surprise. If we did well at the moment, we need to check the answer. The answer that's supposed to give us the middle term that we discard at the beginning of the equation. Okay, and what does that mean? That means we did an excellent process. Understood? Perfect.
So if the answer
Mhm.
gave us the same, it's the same as the middle term is
In the middle
correct, right?
term, it's just like a easy way how we can check the answer. But actually the answer is 3x plus a times 3x plus 4 and show you how you can prove your answer if you did well or you did wrong. And if we compare this answer like I don't know if you can see the difference. Can you see the letter C1 and C2? Pueden verlos, ¿verdad? What was the answer for C in the purple one? 3x plus 8 multiplying by 3x plus 4, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
And if you
Yes.
compare the blue one, we have the same answer. Just what I explained you. The shortcut is the purple one, and the long way is the blue one. Questions?
So well, you recommend
Tomorrow. Mhm.
a short way, right?
Exactly. Sometimes it happens, but sometimes there's no option. Sometimes we're going to have the expression just like the third road, the one single example. Could be 5x squared plus 20x plus 5. So in that cases, we're going to perform the same operation that we made today. But don't worry about it. If God wills, I'm not sure, but I think tomorrow we won't have classes, right? No, no,
No,
no, no, no, no,
we skipped
because
the
we have
first three
a,
classes.
yeah, exactly. So on Monday, if God wills, we're going to continue solving this quadratic expression by means of using numbers different than one in the leader coefficient. We're going to skip in practice. And when you learn how to factorize this perfectly well, I'm going to show you how we can solve the quadratic equations. Actually, to solve the quadratic equations, the 95% is factorize the trinomial using these techniques. And what will be the difference? The difference is instead to give the answer like this one, we have to equal to 0. And that is special. But don't worry. At the moment, if you learn how to factorize the trinomial, solving quadratic equations is the most easiest thing in the world. Okay. So guys, thank you so much for your attendance. Have a great, wonderful day. See you on Monday if God wills. And don't worry, the rest of the people, I'm going to check the answer once again. Take care
Bye,
of yourself.
mister.
Bye bye. See you.